Hello all you lovely colorists! Welcome to my inspiration / how to use my free coloring templates mini tutorial. So these are the 4 freebies that I'm giving away as a thank you to all my newsletter subscribers. There are 2 black and white ones for printing and coloring in with markers or pencils in a traditional way, or you can use them for tracing the image onto a thicker watercolor paper if you prefer to paint. That you can do by using a window or a light pad. I'll show you both methods in a sec. Then there are 2 grayscale templates that can be printed directly onto watercolor paper or used as guidelines for digital coloring on an iPad or a computer. Next I'm going to show you how you can trace your images onto watercolor paper. So first you need to attach the template with a bit of tape onto the light pad, and then on top of that also tape the watercolor paper like this. I always use at least 300 gram watercolor paper, which equals 140 pounds, just to make sure that it endures the amount of water or paint that I put on it. So once it's attached, then I turn the light pad on and start tracing. One way to get around having a light pad is to use a window for tracing. So first you need to tape your template onto a window and then your watercolor paper on top of that, and off you go. So a light pad is absolutely not necessary. Here we go. Okay, so here you'll see a sped up video of me painting with gouache paint. I used a grayscale template for printing directly onto watercolor paper because I have an inkjet printer, not a laser printer. With ink printers, it's always inevitable that the ink will smudge together with the paint if you use the template with black lines, and that'll make the painting look dirty. I'll show you a result of that soon. If you have access to a laser printer, then you don't have this problem and you can use whichever template you prefer. But if you do decide to print onto watercolor paper, please check your printer's user manual to see how thick of a paper your printer is able to process. Mine is fine with 300 grams or 130 pound paper, but some printers might not be able to handle that. And in that case, you always have the option of tracing on a window like I just showed you. Here's the finished illustration that I painted on the grayscale template. I'm thinking of adding some ink line work on it. And this is the version where I painted on top of the black ink. Mistake. So you can probably notice that some of the black ink lines have smudged into the gouache, causing it to look a bit dirty in places. So that's why I recommend to use the grayscale if you paint. Here you see me using the grayscale template and coloring it in a traditional way with colored pencils. I could have used markers or any type of pens as well. Okay, so here's my last tip for using these templates. You can use them as digital guides on an iPad if you have one. So you can download the template onto the iPad or transfer it using AirDrop or Dropbox or whatever you're used to using, and then open it in an illustration app. I personally use Procreate, which looks like this. I use that a lot for digital illustrations. So I first insert the template as a photo, and then I create a layer for each of the colors that I'm using. That way it's easier to change colors if I later on realize that something's not working. So I have actually already started to color this in, and as you can see I actually made a mistake. I did a couple of flowers on the green layer, but I can cut and paste them onto the right layer, but I'll do that later. So here If you like, you can change the opacity of the template layer. Since I'm using the black one here, I can make it more gray if I like. But if you're already using the grayscale one, then you don't need to do that. I actually like working with the black lines, so yeah, so this is one way to use your templates. Okay, I hope you got some inspiration from this little video, and I would love to see what you come up with using my templates, so make sure you tag me with Jeah Design, spelled with Jeah Design. I hope you got some inspiration out of this little video. I want to thank you for spending this time with me. And if you want to learn to use the illustration app Procreate on an iPad, you're welcome to take my Skillshare class on Procreate Basics. There's a link in the description to my class. Using that link will give you 2 months of Skillshare for free if you're new to Skillshare. So I hope to hear from you on Instagram or Skillshare. Bye!